Why people get divorced, and sometimes they have to go for counseling. The counseling should be before the marriage, because if we are living like 20 years together, or 12 years together, and it's not, the marriage is not going through. Why are we going to go for counseling?
Let me say this to you. My wife and I, by the grace of God, have been married, and this year we are celebrating our 24th year of marriage.
Yeah.
We are still young, but celebrating 24th year of marriage. Now, you said something, there has to be counseling before the marriage and before the marriage.
Yes.
This is what we do. We have counseling before the marriage, and we have what we call follow-up counseling after the marriage. However, even if you did counseling before the marriage and after the marriage, the people who are married have a responsibility to learn to work their marriage. My wife and I have been married now 24 years. We went through counseling, but it's a decision that we made to stay together. So I have my part. The pastor can do every counseling there is in the book. If you guys have not made up your mind to stay together, you are not going to stay together. Number two, if you guys are not meant to be together, it's not going to work.
It's what we see, because they are married and they have a girlfriend outside. Even if also the woman have a boyfriend outside, and they are just living together. This is not the kind of a life.
And the reason is that, like I said earlier, is the motive behind. What's the purpose? Why did they get married? Some of them got married because they saw someone getting married last summer. So they say, you know what, next summer we got to do a wedding. And the truth of the matter is, they don't really love each other. That's why they're going outside to find another girlfriend or another boyfriend, because their heart, the love, the passion is not within their home. The passion is outside. They never located where their passion was, and they got married just because they wanted to do it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for all this, because I cannot. Why people get married, and they know that they cannot get along. They spend too much money, or it's because the man have a credential job, or the woman have a credential job. When you get there, you can get help, and after that, you just run away. It's what I can't understand, and that's why every time we need a pastor, for whatever we are talking about, and the pastor will just bring it out, and you are here today, okay? And my next question, we were talking about dime or
tithes,
okay,
and offering.
Yeah, because we want to throw. Online, and we saw that the New Testament does not oblige to give a tithe, but Old Testament, you can give the tithe the way it is supposed. But in New Testament, it doesn't say that. That's why we're talking about, And if you are here today, Pastor, what did New Testament say?
Now, let me say something first of all. Because the New Testament did not use the word tithe, does not mean we should not tithe. The New Testament talks about giving. What is tithing? Tithing is giving 10% of your income. So the New Testament used the word giving and never used the word tithe. So that does not eliminate tithing at all. It is our responsibility as covenant children, because it's part of our covenant. A covenant is something that is made, an agreement that is made between two or more people. And part of the covenant is that we will do what God has asked us to do, and God will do what he has promised to do. Tithing is part of our responsibility, especially if we speak from a fifth standpoint. We must tithe, like I said earlier to your colleague, there is what we call the gift, and the purpose of the gift. The purpose of the gift is another topic, but I would take to the gift. It is our responsibility to give our gifts, our tithing and offerings.
Some kind of pastor, they have a girlfriend in the church, and some pastor, just go ahead and pregnant, some, girlfriend, 3 girlfriend, and they are there. Why the pastor is doing all this?
Now, I'm being very careful now what I say concerning pastors, because I've come to realize I'm on the same boat.
Of course.
One of the things that I'm learning now is I'm not called to criticize people, but I'm called to build. Now, there is always a reason why folks do things, but if I go from the biblical standpoint, pastors should be married if the opportunity is given to them. If the opportunity is not, they're still single. we know that God is against us having girlfriend back and
now
forth.
somebody as a pastor, yeah, you bring that now. Somebody is a pastor, he's a single, and he's staying in that church and he's not married yet. What's going on, pastor?
The question is, we are called, we are chosen, we are anointed to build folks, to prepare folks for heaven and not to destroy folks. So you, as the head of the church, if you are impregnating folks in the church, what is the message you are giving? However, I will say this to our audience out there. It is high time that the church learn to pray for her pastors. Pastors face worse attacks than even the flocks out there. Now, this is not an excuse for pastors to go ahead doing things. We should be people of positive characters. We should be people of integrity. We should be God-fearing and be an example to the folks we are leading. However, I still want to repeat myself. Folks out there should spend time praying for the pastors because they are going through a lot.
Thank you, Pastor. And if you are right there and you want to take part of our show, just call the number on your screen. We need, Pastor Joe Logan is with us today, to tell us what, because he was watching the show and he called us, he wants to take part of this show. If you are a pastor, your contribution, we need your contribution, don't stay there, because what we are talking about is really important. Pastor, we have more churches in Liberian community, like 30 churches in Liberian community. What's behind all this?
I will address that quickly. Number one here, a lot of folks are kicking against that, why there are so many churches. I don't have a problem with that. The question is why there are new liquor stores opening on every block. If we don't have a problem with new liquor stores opening on every block, why should we have a problem with new churches opening every night? Then folks say, why can't we all come together? It's going to be impossible. Why? Because everyone have a vision, everyone have a dream, and everyone, I think, should be given the opportunity to follow the cry of their heart. Everyone is called by God and is hearing a voice. I'm not here to judge why this person is going that direction, why this person. My problem is, if we are having 30 churches in the Liberian community and we are having over 40,000 Liberians and our churches are not full, then I have a problem with that. Then I have a problem. As many churches as are there out there that is going to be started or open, I have no problem with it. Let it go ahead. Okay. That's my personal opinion.
I understand that, and because somebody call us and say, well, there's many churches,
but there are many nightclubs.
They were talking about the church is a kind of a business, and you are here today to tell to people straight there, church is not a business, or this is what it's supposed to be.
And can I say something?
Go ahead, Pastor. That's why you are here today.
It may not sound like what you want to hear. If someone out there ever said a church is a business, I would say yes, it is.
Why?
Now, that's good. Yes, it is.
Why church is a business?
Now,
which kind of business? Which kind of business?
Thank you very much. That's the question that I wanted. That's the question I wanted. Church is the business. Now, like I said to your colleague, there's two sides to the coin. There's a physical aspect and there's a spiritual aspect. A church is a business. It's a spiritual business, but also have a physical business side. That is why every church account at a bank, it says a business account. Once you are dealing with finances, once you are dealing with administration, or you are dealing with the organizational side of it, it's a business. Now, it depends on the concept. Is it a profitable business or non-profitable business? It is a non-profitable business. It is. That's why it is structured.
It's what we say. It's non-profit business, but sometimes there's some kind of issue behind all these churches, because all these small people, when they are awake, they just open the church. Is that because you know how to preach, or because you want to get something behind that?
I've been very careful not to criticize pastors.
No,
now, however, I believe that it's not everyone who is pastoring a church that is called to pastor a church. I strongly believe there are some who are called to be associate pastors. There are some who are called to be an assistant pastors. I have seen folks who were on the choir and singing on the praise team, and they started doing Sunday school teaching. Before you look, they broke away and started their church. However, I'm not here to judge them. You know, the Bible says we will know the tree from its fruits. So we're going to know down the line if those folks were called to pastor full-time or to be senior pastors or not. Well, the scripture says whatever is not of God shall be uprooted. It will be uprooted. However, it is not my responsibility to judge them. I think every pastor out there should pause and check themselves to know if I'm called to this thing, if I'm called to be a senior pastor, am I called to the apostolic anointing, am I called to establish a ministry? Ask yourself the question before you go into it. And if the answer is clearly defined, I encourage you to go out.
Thank you, Pastor. It's not, you to be here to judge, some people, but, you just give us, your contribution, and it's what we need. And if you are there, and you are pastor, and you know that what we are talking about is really important, call the number on your screen and come here. If you don't know the address, we'll give you the address over the phone, and you will come to talk about, what the issue. Thank you so much, Pastor, to be here. It was my pleasure to have you on my microphone. Do you have any final words?
Yes, I want to give just two final words. Number one, talking about tithes and offering. I want to encourage our viewers out there, the believing one who goes to church. The word is offering. The word is a gift. When you pay your taxes, you do not go back to Uncle Sam to question her what did she do with it. I'm not saying that pastors should not be accountable. But when you give a gift to someone, you give a gift to God or to a church, let it go. Don't go back and questioning, how did you buy this suit? How did you do this? How did you do that? I know there are folks out there who are abusing tithes and offering. But guess what? They are going to face their final judgment. There are some of us out there who are sincere. Leave it to us. Let us run it. You just keep praying for your pastors. Lastly, for those out there who are just getting married anyhow, we just talk about marriage. Ask yourself this question before the next wedding. Why am I getting married? Number two, why am I getting married to the person I'm getting married? What contribution do I have to give to this person? What contribution does this person have to give to me? Is this my passion? Is this the love of my heart? Find out these things before you get married. Find out, is this my spouse? Is this the person that I love? And even if you found out it's the person, there are going to be rocket roads. But it's a decision you make that this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life. Like I said earlier, my wife and I are celebrating our 24th year. And I'm just 16 years old. But we made a decision that we're going to stay together till death do us part. If I can do it, if my wife can do it, you can do it. Make sure you have the right person. And if you discover it's the right person, make a decision to stay together. Thank you so much.
Merci donc, Pasteur Joe Logan. Merci d'être avec nous parce qu'il fallait quand même des précisions pour savoir réellement ce qui se passait dans les églises. Et puisque nous avons toujours des gens qui nous appellent un peu de partout pour nous se plaindre. Et cela nous a valu aujourd'hui votre présence ici dans ce studio pour quand même déballer le plus gros problème. You want to say something?
Yes, I want to just add something to what you were saying. People that are accusing pastors of eating money, actually, if we were following the recommended rules and regulations laid out by the IRS and experts out there, we will be eating more than what we are eating. Because it is accepted that 45 to 55% of the church's income, 45 to 50%, watch this, if the church is earning $100,000 a year, $45,000 to $55,000 are supposed to be paid. And guess what? It is accepted by the IRS that 45% to 55% of the church's income is supposed to go to the pastor. So if the church is making $100,000 a year, I'm supposed to be paid $45,000 to $55,000. Guess what? Pastors in our community, I don't know, but I, for one, I don't even make up to $5,000.
Mesdames et messieurs, Serge Nyawa pour cette grande édition d'Ivoire TV Show Africa. Rendez-vous Connection. Si vous êtes en train de nous regarder, c'est le moment de nous appeler pour apporter votre contribution si vous êtes un pasteur. Serge Nyawa, je voudrais vous dire au revoir et à plus tard.